Welcome in on another episode in the KIPS Podcast. My name is Tyler Valencia, and in this episode, I'm going to be talking about YouTube mistakes specifically. Now, I'm going to be sharing some insight, but also some stories from my journey with YouTube and my company, Time to Train Fitness. I'll give a little background in just a little bit, but it's important to remember that YouTube is a journey. If you're listening to this episode and you haven't started on YouTube, or maybe you are on your journey, maybe you're a beginner, and maybe you've been listening to this podcast and you've taken my advice to start on YouTube, and you're thinking, oh man, Tyler, he made some of that stuff up. It's much harder than I thought, or I started and I'm not getting anywhere. It is a journey, and YouTube is a marathon. It's not a sprint. I mean, if you have a following, if you have a big base already developed on Facebook or on Instagram, there is a good chance that you could grow quickly, much more quicker than individuals that do not have those channels built out. But more than likely, if you are starting on YouTube, you're going to be developing your skills, developing your on-screen personality. And that's why it's about a journey. You're learning so much along the way. You are figuring out how to adapt, how to adjust. And it's one of those things that you look back 6 months, 1 year, and you're like, oh my goodness, why was I making that? Why did I say that? Why was I standing there? There's so many things that you would have changed because you've grown so much over that process. Before we get any further, I do want to say thank you for listening. The KIPS Podcast, it's been around for, let me think now, 3 years. And these episodes, this podcast, it's all about helping out fellow fitness instructors, whether you're a health coach, strength coach, personal trainer, group exercise instructor, wherever you are, helping you develop and hopefully give you some insight into some things that can help you take that step on a budget, more affordable ways. And if you continue to listen, please make sure that you drop a comment on your favorite platform or review on either Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Let me share a little bit about my company, Time to Train Fitness, just to set the stage. If you do follow my company, you will know that we do now have separate channels. There used to be one main channel, and I'll talk about that one in the third thing. Now, there's going to be 3 things that I go over, but we are 4 different channels, 4 different instructors, myself being one of them, but we used to be on one. And it was named Time to Train Fitness. And over the last year, we have kind of separated into separate channels to really take advantage of the YouTube algorithm. And I share this because that's part of the adapting process with each channel. There's HIIT and dumbbell training with me. There's cycling with Kelly Favre. There's a bar with McCall Tixon. And then there is an active aging channel we have with Mary Draper. So let me get into the first one because that was a good little segue there that I didn't even plan. The first mistake that I've made, and it came from analyzing all the information that comes in, the data, and it was not knowing that reels are not the most appropriate thing for active aging. If you listen to each podcast episode, I don't know off the top of my head, but a while back I did an episode about YouTube Shorts or Reels. That's the Instagram term for growing a YouTube channel and how important they are. And because I saw tremendous growth and I've shared this in conferences, and I've done a tremendous growth with subscribers, with watch hours, with the KIPS YouTube channel. And I still utilize that type of strategy. I use about 3 to 4 different YouTube shorts per week on the KIPS YouTube channel. And it still is helping chug along, grow the audience. And last year, tremendous growth when I started doing it in about, I think it was around July. And I thought, okay, let me apply this with these other channels, these other YouTube channels. So I started uploading YouTube shorts with them. And there started to be a big change in the audience. Now, one of the big benefits of YouTube is that it helps you establish your audience. It is trying to find that perfect viewer, that one audience member that is going to watch, come back, engage, and then it's going to find more of them. Just like how any advertisement works with Facebook or on Instagram, it's trying to find the perfect viewer based on the data that they have, and then go find more of them. And so I thought, okay, I'll start uploading this with this active aging channel and let's see what happens. It should hopefully grow. But what started to happen was, instead of there being a kind of upward curve as it got closer to the 55 plus audience and the demographics, it started to even out. So instead of being this, we'll call it upward, exponentially growing, in terms of there was 0 audience members in the 22, 30 bracket, to all of a sudden it evening out and being more in the middle, that was something that you don't want. You don't want younger individuals watching an active aging channel, a 55 plus channel. And these reels started to adjust those. So this is a mistake, in my opinion, because it then started affecting the numbers, the watch hour, the watch time, the subscriber count, because this channel saw a huge increase, a big spike where workouts were getting tons of views, older workouts, the whole channel was growing exponentially, but then all of a sudden it just had a huge drop off. And I contribute these YouTube shorts to it because it started to change that audience. So this mistake and this little tip here that when I'm diving into here, it's not for everybody. Think about the demographics that watch short form content. It's much more of a younger crowd. So if you do have a channel that is much more that's more spread out, there's a good chance that the majority of them will fall in there. But think about your demographic. Who are you trying to track? Who is that audience member, and what do they watch? How do they digest content? If it's not in YouTube Shorts, don't spend too much time there. And you could take that onto other types of formats, other platforms as well. Let me get into the next one here, and that is over designing and not emphasizing my thumbnails. This has been one of a more recent development, and this comes with, of course, research, and you hear them, and I've heard this one over the last year, and I can tell you that I've just been, I haven't followed it, and that's my fault. I openly admit that, and that is one of the things that I've been spending more time in. There's thumbnails that I've been working on that I'll redesign them multiple times. But as I learn more, as I research more, as I go on YouTube and I see what's trending, what are my, I don't want to call them competitors. What are other channels in the same space? What are they doing? And one of the tips that I heard, and this one came from a channel that they run a YouTube, basically a business that helps YouTube channels. And his tip that he gave was to put less graphics, put 50% less graphics into it, but spend more time designing each one. And you think about how do you do that? Because I went down that road where I was actually over designing, putting way too many layers, way too many graphics, all kinds of stuff, just trying to stick out, because in my mind, it was, how do I get someone to stop and click on it? What is eye-catching enough? And simplifying, being more minimalist has actually helped out and made these look more professional. And that's part of what I think is an outlook to have. What's more professional? What looks much cleaner and can be something that can help you attract companies in the future. So it's good practice to think, okay, cleaner looks, cleaner lines, and not as much graphics. So the tip that I got that I'm sharing with you is put less graphics, but also spend more time. And one of the other ones I've heard that's pretty similar to that is to design 3 different thumbnails for each video. And you're thinking, oh my goodness, when I get to that point, I just want to upload it. I don't want to spend too much time. Let me tell you, it is one of the most important parts of your YouTube upload, your thumbnails. You don't want to drop the ball on this. You want to spend a good amount of time on it, 2-3 times as much time as you are right now if you aren't, because it can really make a difference. Audience members, potential click-throughs, they are window shopping. If you spend more time on it, more effort, you're most likely going to get results from it. If you're in the market for adjustable dumbbells or at-home workout equipment, check out Core Home Fitness at the link in the description. From adjustable dumbbells, multi-function benches, and all-in-one options, they got it all. I personally have their adjustable dumbbells and the glute drive that also works as a bench, and would recommend them to anyone building their home gym or looking for easy adjustable options. The dumbbells, they easily adjust from 5 pounds to 50 pounds just by turning the handle and lock in for your safety. Grab yourself a pair and see for yourself how easy they can fit into your fitness program. If you've been a fan of this podcast, you know that before end of each episode, you're going to hear a promotion for the Naboso Duo insoles. I've been using them for probably a year and a half, and I personally think they're game changers. I think everybody should get them, try them out, see what you think. And personally, I've talked about how I used to have foot pain just from sitting at a desk and then trying to be active, trying to go work out, and not really being able to fully maximize it. So I always try to throw it out there for individuals to just try them out, see what you think, utilize them in your day-to-day, and hopefully improve your overall activity level. That's the key right there, activity level. So check them out. There's a link in the description for the Naboso insoles. They have a variety of them to check out, different accessories. Check them all out, see what you think, and hopefully come back and let us know that they've really helped out with your activity level. Let's get back to the episode. Segueing to the last one here, and this is a rather quick episode. It's not as long as my other ones. Even I'm looking at the time here, and maybe it'll be about 15 minutes long. We'll see how much I rant here. So the last one is varying my content too much. And this was a mistake I made earlier on, and one that I've started to adjust more recently. As I talked about, I used to have a main channel with Time to Train. We used to have a variety of formats on one channel, and we weren't seeing that much growth, as much growth, and some videos were being affected by more popular ones because, like I said before, YouTube is trying to find that perfect audience member. And think about it, how many individuals out there like a variety of formats, and like all the ones I just shared, and are going to take all of them. So it really was affecting all the formats. And so let me give an example with my channel, Tyler Valencia Fitness. With it, my most popular videos happen to be cycling videos. Even though I don't teach cycling, these were the most popular videos because I made some how-to, some very beginner videos that really exploded. And when I look at them, this is a little tangent here, but when I look at them and I go watch, I'm like, oh my goodness, what is wrong with my color correction, my lighting, all these different things. But yet the one that was the most popular, I think when I unlisted it, had 120,000 views on it, tons. And it was making good money. But yet that's not what you want. You don't want your cycling videos to be the most popular thing on a dumbbell, on a hit channel. And so when you vary too much away from what your channel's about, your YouTube channel is just trying to find things that are going to be popular on it. So if it sees that the cycling ones, it's going to show that video over and over and over, and that's going to think that that's the perfect thing for your audience. And when I went and looked at the keywords that how people were finding my page, the top 10, top 15 ones were cycling based, all things that I did not want for my videos, because I want my content that I'm making now that's about HIIT, that's about dumbbell workouts, HIIT cardio, Tabata workouts. I wanted those things to be more front and center. So I had to make that decision to unlist them. And I made this decision pretty recently, and I'm starting to see better results with those. And hopefully that'll turn things around, because if you're making better content now, of course you want that stuff to be seen. But my advice would be to research your competitors. If you're thinking about adding in a new format, and you're thinking, okay, I have my new channel, I have my audience, and I have this, but I'm really passionate about this other format. Maybe you're starting a second channel. That's something that individuals have asked me before. Oh, should I just add them all into one page? Think about what are similar formats that you could potentially put on one channel. So with mine, Tyler Valencia Fitness, I have HIIT, cardio, dumbbell HIIT, and I have Tabata workouts, all very similar types of exercises. And then I'm thinking about other ones for the future, but I wouldn't be putting in a yoga. I wouldn't be putting in a walking on there because it's too different in my opinion. It's hard to find those individuals that will do all those types, and it might be suited better on a separate channel. Research your competitors, research what's out there, and see how you can make a more educated guess. That's some solid advice that can help you move forward. You want your time spent, of course, on these types of things to be maximized. So research, make an educated guess, decision on these, and run with it. Put the same effort that you're putting across the board. So this has been an episode, mistakes that I've made. These are open. I'm putting them out there. Hopefully others cannot go down that same path. Hopefully you're starting that journey, or hopefully you just find this fascinating. I'd love to hear. You can always leave a comment, like I mentioned, on your favorite social media platform, or if you are on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, listen to this, or potentially you're listening on Spotify, leave us a 5-star review. That really helps the channel grow. Thank you as always for listening, and I will catch you in the next one.